What's up, guys? So we're back to Frozen Love, finally getting around to doing this one for you. Thanks for everyone who's been writing in and asking. I really appreciate the interest and glad I was able to take some time to do this today. So to play this part of the song, the whole first part of the song, if you want to see the interlude, the bridge, acoustic solo part of the song, you can check out my other video. I'll link it at the end of this video. But basically, you want to make sure you're in this tuning, which is E, B, D, F sharp, A, and D. It's like a E7 sus tuning, open tuning. All right, and so for this part of the song, I'll walk you through this whole part of the song, verse, chorus, and then it basically just repeats up to that point where the interlude starts, the bridge. And so I'll get you up to that point here. The first thing you want to do is try to grab this chord here. So I'm going to refer to the strings as if we're in standard tuning. So got your right hand, your thumb's going to be covering this open A string, and then the chord here is going to be middle finger on the 4th fret. So we got 4, 3, 4, going middle index ring. Okay, so that you're going to grab that chord like that, and then you have to hammer on with your pinky to cover the G and the B string 5th fret. So like that. And that's the rhythm, bump, 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 with that little hammer on in between, right? Going down to this chord, which is index finger, still open A string. We have D string 2 with the index, G string 3rd fret, the middle, and B string 4th fret with the ring. So sneak that thumb in there. There's a lot of syncopation in this guitar playing, and there's percussive muting, and the thumb is kind of a filler, a rhythmic filler to get that syncopation on a lot of stuff. So and that's like an E chord. We're gonna but it's kind of like the shape of an A major chord if you're in standard tuning. We're gonna bar the top 4 strings, basically there, and then you're with the right hand, we're gonna pluck the D, G, and B, and the low string with your thumb, and then hammer into that 2nd fret like this. Okay, and then you can throw in the top note there at the end of that phrase that it leads into the next figure, so, right? That'll lead you into, okay, so that figure, we're gonna go hammering on from the A string into the 2nd fret, open D, 2nd fret, pull off, and then pull off the low string 3rd fret, and you kind of bend it up as you pull it off. Right, so, okay, and then you're gonna grab that first chord I showed you, but don't press down yet. So you want to get to it as quickly as you can coming out of that figure. See how I went right back to it, but I'm just muting the strings and holding that shape, because we need to put this little dead stroke in there on the D string there. So see that? So, and then you push right there, so into your hammer on again. See how that works? Okay, And so that whole figure is gonna just repeat until the vocals come in. When the verse comes in, then there's an alternating figure that I'll show you here. So when the vocals come in, okay, so that you're gonna go up to the G string 8th fret with your middle finger, and then with your ring finger you're gonna grab the 9th fret of the B string. Okay, and then you slide them down together so they meet on the 7th fret, like that. And then you're gonna go down to the 3rd and 4th frets, middle ring on the G and B string, and you're gonna do a pull off. So you'll need to hammer on the index finger on that 2nd fret so you can go, right? So, okay. And then there's a bit of a push in the rhythm right here. Rest, boom, gah, right? So we're coming out of that phrase. Right? And you do a little percussive mute right there. Mute. Hold. Okay, and then that's going into the next part, the chorus. So you're gonna grab basically what's an F sharp minor. Right? Okay, so that's gonna be 4, 3, 4, 4. You can use the thumb if you want to play the low note there. The thumb hanging over if you want. And so that's going to go to, right, so that's basically, we put our middle finger on the 3rd fret of the A string, and then we have the next 3 strings open, right? Back to that E chord I showed you, okay, where we bar across, so. And then you're gonna rake through this first chord that I showed you all the way through. Okay, and then back to the E chord, and it's syncopated. It's ba, ba, right? So. And then this time, instead of that E chord, we have a passing chord, this right here. So we bar across, goes from the A string 2, 2, 3, 4, and that's gonna have that same syncopated rhythm to it, right? 1, Okay, and then that's gonna go here, which is index finger 3, 4, 3, starting on the A string again, right? Slide that up 2 frets, whole step. Okay, and then we have this kind of power chord, right? With a little crescendo kind of. Back to this chord, pushes. Okay, and then from this chord you just lower that index finger to the 2nd fret. Right? So one more time. So coming out of that. Let me just start back at the whole verse section here. So, okay, going into the chorus. So, passing chord. Okay, back to this chord. 1. Okay, and that's just okay. That's just 2, 2 on the D and the G string. Okay, and then we have this part, little Travis pick part right right here on the middle 4 strings. Open, barring across the 2nd fret there. Grabbing the A string and the G and the B, open, 2, 3, 4, harmonic. Okay, and then it basically goes just back through that whole form again up to the interlude part, which I will link so you guys can check that out. So I'll play you this acoustic rhythm part that goes behind the solo at the end, and when I do the lesson on the guitar solo at the end, I'll just walk through that whole ending part. But it's basically all the same chords, just the arrangement changes a little bit. They hang on some of the chords, and we can go through all that when I do the solo. So I'll just show you this part here real quick. It's a little more syncopated, but same chords as we had before, that F sharp, those 3 chords. So okay, so that goes behind the solo, and then they unfold through the rest of those chords to the end. So we'll cover that in a separate video. Cool, I hope this helps, guys.